Hey, Coach D here from All Out Athletes. And we're back once again with the All Out Athletes podcast to help you think like a champion. And one of the people who've studied champions all over the world is with me right now. Once again, the professor in sports psychology, the great Dr. Gilbert. How's it going, Doc?
Hey, Coach D. Let's go.
All right. So today we're going to talk about an Olympic gold medalist. He had 3 Olympic gold medals, 13 X Game medals in snowboarding. He also got 2 gold medals from X Games in skateboarding. And he will be at the 2022 Olympics as he's training right now for his 4th Olympic gold medal. I'm talking about Shaun White. And Shaun White says that he trains. He's one of the most popular snowboarders in the world. He said that he trains so much on a snowboard that he doesn't even work out. That is his workout for the amount of training that he does. And one of his great quotes that he said was, he said, some athletes attach the snowboard to their feet and others attach it to their souls. Now, what does that mean to you, Doc?
Well, you got to be passionate. I mean, if you have to work out, you know, I got to work out. No, you get to work out. I have to work out. No, I want to work out. If you're a have to or a got to, and you're not a get to or a want to, the game is over. Because if you don't love skateboarding or snowboarding as much as Shaun White, how are you ever going to beat Shaun White? So look at it this way. If you think it's going, we're talking about passion. If you think it's going to be hard to be passionate, so let me say that again. If you think it's going to be difficult to be passionate, imagine how difficult it will be to compete against somebody who's passionate if you're not. If you think it's going to be difficult to be passionate about basketball, football, baseball, golf, whatever, if you think that's going to be difficult, imagine how difficult it's going to be to compete against somebody that's passionate if you're not.
So Dr. Gilbert brings up a few good points there. He's talking about have-tos and get-tos. And what if you're going up against the get-to? You're in trouble, as Doc just said. You're competing against somebody who every day they feel as if they get to do it when you feel as if you have to do it. So how do you turn
to find something that you're a want to? If you're a got to, find something that you're a get to. I mean, don't beat yourself up against the wall. Are you playing the sport because you want to play the sport or your parents want you to play the sport? Are you playing the sport because you love it or you feel like, oh, well, you know, I've been on the team for 3 years? You don't have to. You know, nobody's forcing you.
Shaun White loves snowboarding. He actually talks about, he looked up how much distance could he actually go above the pipe and land without breaking his leg. Like, he looks things up like that. He is so passionate about snowboarding, and that's the message you're trying to get across. Dr. Gilbert studies so many champions around the world, and Doc, it's the same story. They're all get-tos. Every champion is a get-to. Hey, Doc, have you ever met a have-to champion? Have you ever met a half-hearted champion? Have you ever met any of those?
Well, at the lower levels, you do. But the higher levels, you don't. You know, you could be a gut-to champion in high school. You can't be a gut-to champion in college. You know, right. In wrestling, you could be a state champion if you're a gut-to. But in college, you can't be a national champion if you're a gut-to.
Right. And if you
whether you're a gut-to or a get-to.
And so then, Doc, can we talk about for a couple minutes before we end today is how do you turn a have-to into a get-to? So let's say you love your sport, but you're not driven to be the best. So one of the things Doc and I talked about at one of the earlier podcasts was about hunger. See, Shaun White's hungry to be the best. How do we know?
If you love your sport, you're driven to be the best. That's fine. You don't have to be the best. Why do you have to be the best? You don't have to be the best. Now, if I don't want you to be my cardiologist, if you don't want to be the best cardiologist, you know, if I'm going to watch you play Little League Baseball, that's fine if you don't want to be the best. You know, if you're going to operate on my kid, I want you to be the best. Now, the thing is, I think life is much more fun when you find something you want to be the best at, you know, because if you're playing all out, if you're not playing all out, that's recreation. Like you play miniature golf, you do well, you're happy. You don't do well, you're happy. It doesn't matter. But if you're a golfer, you know, you're invested in it. So find something that you want to constantly, continuously get better and better at. And that makes life a whole lot more fun.
Doc, as a matter of fact, they started some miniature golf tournament of people who are totally into miniature golf.
Oh,
it's crazy.
All over the country into it.
Yeah, and it's like so yeah, Doc's mentioning that because if you just want to do it, you can do any sport you want recreationally. That's your choice. But if you have a team that's relying on you to go all out, so you may find out, why are you here? And again, as Doc said, you don't have to be the best. No, nobody has to be the best at anything. But are you lying to yourself when you say you want to be the best, but you feel like you have to instead of a get to? So, Doc, any last words before we wrap it up today?
Yeah. So suppose you really, I mean, your passion is you want to be a doctor, and of course, if you're in high school or college, you have to get into medical school. And to get into medical school, you have to get an A or B in a course called organic chemistry. Now, suppose you really love medicine, but you really hate organic chemistry. Well, what do? If you have to do it, like you love basketball, but you hate suicides, sometimes you just have to suck it up and do what you have to do when you have to do it, whether you like it or not, no matter what. You don't have to like every single thing. But guess what? If I'm not saying you have to love organic chemistry. I'm just saying you have to get an A or a B in it. I'm not saying you have to love being in the weight room. You just better do a good job in the weight room. So you don't have to love every single tiny little thing. You probably won't. And I'll remind you about the Muhammad Ali quote. I hated every moment of training. Ali didn't like training. He liked fighting, though. I hated every moment of training, but I said to myself, don't quit, suffer now, and I could spend the rest of my life as a champion. I hated every moment of organic chemistry, but I said to myself, don't quit, suffer now, and I could spend the rest of my life as a doctor. That's it.
I love that, Doc, because Doc, when we talk about passion, I think what gets lost is that people think that, people who are passionate love every part of their training every second. And as you just pointed out, Doc, with Muhammad Ali, it's not true. You got to push through and fight through those feelings to get where you want to be. Doc, thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see everybody next week on the All Out Athletes. Come on back, and we'll help you think like a champion. Thanks, Doc.
Okay.